Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? If you've been listening to the podcast or following along on Instagram, you probably already know that I'm getting ready for a big move back up to New York City. I'm so excited to have a new space to design, and while I don't know exactly where I'll be living yet, one thing is for sure, my home will feature artwork from my favorite Etsy shop, Arranger Paints. My favorite piece from the artist Steve is a painting of the New York City skyline. It's hanging over my desk as we speak, and it will certainly be making the move to the Big Apple with me. If you're looking for one-of-a-kind artwork to personalize your space, be sure to check out arrangerpaints.etsy.com. As a special thank you for Health by Haven podcast listeners, use code HXH10 to get 10% off your next purchase. Thank you for your support of the show and for supporting our podcast sponsors. Now, back to the show. Jordan Laurelle is a classical pianist turned digital lifestyle and content creator turned mindset and manifestation coach. After growing up in a religious cult and living in a controlling marriage, Jordan turned to manifestation to take control of her own life and finally live freely in her purpose. Jordan now has a podcast and a coaching practice to help others create their dream life as well. In the episode, Jordan explains what in the world manifestation is, why it actually works and isn't all just woo-woo, and how to take the steps to shift your mindset to create the life of your dreams. This is such an inspiring conversation, and by listening along, following Jordan's steps, you too can manifest your dream life. So give it a listen. I know you guys are going to love this conversation with Jordan. All right, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the Health by Haven podcast today. I have loved following along your accounts on Instagram and have really been getting into all things manifestation and how mindset matters. And so I'm so thrilled to get to talk to you today all about mindset. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. I love chatting about these things. I literally have my own podcast because I can't shut up about it. But yes, I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So for those who are listening who may not know you or maybe haven't stumbled upon your social media accounts yet, could you give everybody just a little bit of a background on you? What's your story, how you came to find manifestation and how it's kind of taken a role in your life?
Yeah, so I have quite the story. I was raised in a religious cult and was told I'd always have to obey a man. So very controlled, very disempowered a lot of my life. I was very much a doormat, didn't know who I was, so afraid to use my voice because I also went through quite a bit of abuse. And I got married at 24. And we got in trouble for kissing before our wedding day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was like ankle-length skirts, no drinking, no dancing. Lot of yeah. I don't even need to go into it too much, but it was pretty extreme. And I was also homeschooled, so I was quite under-socialized. Went to a homeschool college, and then I was studying pre-law, and then was like, I cannot do this. I'm too much of a creative. So I switched to music. I'd done music my whole life. Got my undergrad and master's in piano performance. Was teaching, accompanying. And my ex-husband was more open, less controlling. We were at a less extreme church. And so I was able to start dressing more fun, a bit more normal. Started a blog and all about fashion, sharing my outfits, and it just like took off. And I started making a ton of money and way more than my ex-husband. And it honestly changed my blog, changed my life because I would not have the marriage was controlling and abusive in some ways as well. And I wouldn't have been able to get out of it if I hadn't started making my own money to that degree. And I'm just so grateful. End of 2019, ended up separating, getting divorced, and then COVID hit. And I was just at rock bottom, like, cause influencer life, I was out at like parties and events and just living my absolute best life for those few months. I was like free and out. but I hadn't dealt with like anything that I had gone through in my life.
Yeah.
I had no idea how. I just escaped and numbed. And COVID made me really start facing things because I had literally nothing else to do but sit with my anxiety and be like, wow, my brain is a horrible place to be. So
Oh.
that was what kind of kickstarted me into first, it was really like healing and mental health and mindset. And that got me kind of like stable, but I still wasn't really in my power. And manifestation is really what pushed me into starting to fully live from my power as the creator of my life. And it all changed my life so deeply. And I just started finding myself feeling better and better and creating better and better and being like, wow, these things I never thought would be possible for me ever like are starting to happen and I'm making them happen. And I really, for me though, like I kind of made a lot of mistakes with manifestation. And um, after like really digging into it, I realized like a lot of people aren't linking trauma healing, inner child healing, and mental health with manifestation. And those things
Mhm.
play such a like a huge part in who you're being and how you're feeling and showing up. So and like manifestation is actually all about embodiment. And so that's kind of why I shifted to calling it magnetism because I started to feel like I didn't need to like think about steps or go through a process as much. I just started magnetizing things to me and it started to feel effortless and fun and flowy and so that's really what I teach. I teach women how to be magnetic, and that involves teaching them how to step into their power, how to manifest. We do go over manifestation, but also how to build a relationship with themselves, which really a lot of that is deep healing work. And then also just learning how to work with yourself. Like, how are you speaking to yourself each day? Are you apologizing to yourself when you're mean to yourself? Are you checking in and seeing how you're feeling? Like, we do that with friends. And so a lot of it ends up being relationship to self, and then some of the relationship to the universe work that I end up doing. And it just, yeah, you just become magnetic.
Okay, I love it. I'm so into this. So I'm so excited to chat with you. And I feel like, oh, I could take this so many different directions. But let's start by like super breaking it down on the granular level. If people are listening and they're like, what in the world are they talking about? Like, what even is manifestation? Can you give us like the 101?
Yes, yeah. So manifestation is like pretty simple. It sounds so woo and out there, but it's like, how do I call into my physical reality the things that I want? So it's literally just creating in your life, which is what we're born to be, creators. For me, I have a 7-step process, and it involves getting clear on what you want, removing limiting beliefs, replacing them with better beliefs. Step 4 is then vibrating, like becoming a match. So that's essentially like feeling the feelings and being in the energy of those new beliefs that are aligned with what you want. Releasing attachment, taking inspired action. And then my 7th step is to receive because a lot of people don't actually receive their manifestations. Like, enjoy it. Take that time to savor it, be grateful for it, and also receive what you currently have in your reality. That magnetizes more. So, that 7-step process is a really great place to start if you are just like super new to manifestation and you're like how like wanting to become more magnetic. Honestly, like steps 2 and 3 is essentially cognitive rewiring. It's literally rewiring your brain. And like that is the step that then sometimes we need trauma healing or inner child healing to actually make those subconscious shifts. People get super blocked because they're like, I am abundant, I am abundant, I am abundant. And they have like poverty trauma from not having enough their whole life. You've got to do some inner child healing work on that. You can't just like think yourself or into a better belief all the time. Your nervous system and your body need to heal and release that sometimes. So yeah, it can get really deep, and I think that's where a lot of people feel like, oh, it doesn't work because they're like, I've been saying I'm wealthy all day and my bank account's still zero. It's like there's a little bit more to it. You just don't pick the affirmation, but it is a great place to start. It's just like, if you're new to the gym, you might not know exactly what you're doing, the right techniques to get exactly the right muscle groups trained and toned all the time, but you're at least doing something and you're going to start getting healthier. So I think it's just a really great way to get people just playing around with manifestation.
Yes. Okay. I love it. So maybe use yourself as an example or maybe like a fake client, but it seems like you're right. I haven't really heard people talk about the connection to like your background and your upbringing to like how and what you're manifesting in your life. And you've obviously like done a 180 from how you grew up into now. And so if somebody is in that spot, they're starting off say they're either at rock bottom or they had like a really traumatic childhood and they want to change that for themselves and for their families, what would be like some good first steps? Like how do you put those things together?
Sure. I think therapy is a great place to start for if you have gone through some really hard things or are going through some really hard things. Grow therapy takes a ton of insurance, and I pay $5 a session because my
Wow.
insurance happens to cover it. So, BetterHelp is also great, and they have a lot of like financial help if that is something you're struggling with. So, I think therapy is really great. But honestly, just start building a relationship with yourself. Start checking in with yourself each day, journaling. You would be surprised how much you can release and how much you can get to know yourself through taking 10 minutes to just journal out everything that's coming up for you every day. And then from there, hold yourself in your difficult emotions. I think a lot of people, with dating talk about emotional availability. I want an emotionally available partner, or not to have an avoidant or an anxious attachment. And so many people don't understand, well, you have to be emotionally available to yourself in order to attract somebody who is emotionally available. And this is where we could really get into how your childhood and like your relationship with your parents like actually is so practically affects what you're manifesting in your day-to-day life, and especially when it comes to dating. But you can just start very simply to connect with yourself, check in, how am I doing? And then instead of so many of us, and I used to be so afraid of my negative emotions, like, oh my God, I'm anxious, and then you get anxious about your anxiety, and then you
Yeah.
spiral.
Yeah.
And truly, acceptance is the starting point of change. What we resist persists. And so often we resist ourselves, we resist our emotions. And when we can learn to actually sit with ourselves, sit with our emotions, love and accept ourselves where we're at, and with all these negative emotions coming up and not be so afraid of them and pushing them down, we can start to feel them. And then they start to pass. And then we start to build trust with ourselves because instead of continuing to self abandon, and run away from ourselves and our scary emotions, we're sitting with ourselves, we're staying with ourselves. And that builds self trust. And self trust is a foundation to personal power and to being able to trust well with the universe, trust well with a romantic partner. Like if you have a lot of fear or anxiety or trust issues, building self trust will really, it's just a very practical way to actually help yourself with those things.
Okay, so since you've kind of like given the example of dating, like finding a romantic partner, let's stick with that thread. If someone is like, I'm trying to manifest a good match for me that's like a healthy relationship. I've been in all of these unhealthy relationships that have ended poorly. What are some steps? Like, say somebody's your client and they're like, this is what I want. Like, walk us through how they could do that.
Yeah. Well, first, I would make them get really clear on everything that they want to manifest in that partner, and everything that they are looking for that partner or relationship to give them. And then I would work with them on how to give themselves every single one of those things on that list. Like for me, I realized something I was outsourcing to my relationships was, well, here's a few things actually. I was outsourcing feeling safe. I was outsourcing play, and I
Mm,
was outsourcing like adventure and
mm,
excitement and fun. And I was also outsourcing like companionship. And of course, it's great to get those things from a relationship. We want a relationship for those things. But if you need it from the relationship and you're not giving it to yourself at all, you're dependent, overly dependent on the relationship. It creates codependency in the relationship. And it really just, it'll create problems or it'll push people away. We end up sabotaging. Like a lot of these unaddressed things within ourselves are the causes of self-sabotage, and how we block our manifestation or we call it in, but we can't hold on to it or keep it or we push it away. So I spent time working with myself. Like, how can I play? How can I incorporate play in my life so that, yes, I can enjoy it from a partner, but not need it? And so I realized, when did I feel that like thrill and exhilaration as a kid? Winter sports, skiing, ice skating. So I took myself ice skating, finding hobbies or ways that you can play. The whole safety thing, I think a lot of women, it's so common, and this is honestly something I end up working on with women a lot because I've done so much work myself with it. A lot of us are looking for safety, for
mm.
somebody to like hold us and take care of us and like help us just feel safe. And as much as like, yes, 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 it's so beautiful from a partner and you can manifest that. And there are people who are in relationships where they're getting that and they haven't learned to give it to themselves. It really creates this dependency in the relationship that ends up not allowing it to be as like free and beautiful and expansive and abundant as it can be. And oftentimes it is what blocks a lot of women or makes women clingy or anxious attached in relationship or in dating dynamics, which pushes people away because then they feel like, oh, this person like needs me. And if you can learn how to give yourself that safety internally, which a lot of it's through building self-trust, a lot of it's through being able to be emotionally available to yourself, and a lot of that like companionship that we look for. Like I have learned how to enjoy my own company and not feel lonely when I'm alone, and that was a big trigger for me. So I was adopted at birth, and I didn't have emotionally available parents growing up, and that creates abandonment wounds. And I had this like loneliness wound where I just like felt so lonely and like craved that from a partner. And truly, it has given me so much power in dating, learning how to give those things to myself and heal those things because I don't need a man. I'm not sitting there anxious. Oh my God, he didn't text back. Like maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe he's leaving me. Because then we kind of create that. We create what we expect, unfortunately, a lot of the time. And if you're constantly expecting somebody to leave you, they are probably going to end up leaving you because you literally are creating that. Um, so yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things. If you can, it's finding wholeness within. It was actually the whole season. My last season on my podcast was about that because it's so important to self-source. That's this big part of self-sovereignty and being in your power, which just that gives you your power back in dating, I found.
Well, and I love that you're bringing that up because I think, sadly, like a lot of people are struggling with their mental health and with feeling lonely and sad. And so like being able to be content with yourself and like you said, I love to like play by yourself. I've been trying to like find ways where I'm just having fun every day. Like even if it's just a little bit, like I'm still getting my work done, but like 5 minutes of like this is not for productivity, this is for fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's such a magnetic energy. Right now, my energy with the universe is like, all right, wine and dine me, universe. Like, what's the best that you've got for me today? Like, it's just this fun, flirty energy. You are so magnetic. I'm that way with men. I'm that way with people. Like, I'm just in this like fun, flowy energy. And like, that's the energy where you manifest because you're not attached. You're not needing something to feel good. You're creating the feel good. And it's just a very magnetic energy. So I love that. I like that makes me so happy. Just, yes, we're here to enjoy life, enjoy the journey, play.
Yes, so fun. Okay, so I have to say, for people who are listening who maybe are like the naysayers, they're like, this is like not really real. You're like making all this up in your head. Like, let's convert them for the power of like how much your mindset matters and how you can like bring things into your life based off your energy.
Yeah. Well, what really like because I am also very much like I need to understand something and like see that it works. And also like for me when was trying to get my belief behind manifestation, like it really was psychology that like I was like, wow, this is actually like it literally is psychology. Like the reticular activating system. You are literally looking for what you are expecting and what you're focused on. So if you're focused on there are no good men out there, they're all pieces of shit, they're all gonna like cheat, they're really bad, you are going to literally, your brain is programmed to look for that. And that is all you are going to see. So, like, it's even just from like a psychological perspective. Step one, get clear. What do you want? I'm making you focus on what you do want. I want a man that isn't shitty. I want a man that's emotionally available, that's has integrity, that treats me like a queen, that honors me, respects me as a partner with me. Get clear on what you want and focus on that. And then start working on I like it's wild to me the women who are having the worst dating experiences that I know are the ones who have the worst mindset about dating. And
Mm.
I get it. Like literally it is so hard when all you have experienced is maybe being cheated on. It is really hard to believe that there's somebody out there that won't cheat on you. But if that's what you want, you're going to have to heal that wound because there's probably a little girl who's really, really, really hurt and feels really like betrayed and abandoned and has serious trust issues. You're going to have to do a lot of healing work on that. But then you're going to have to start believing that there are people who are trustworthy. And the more you build self-trust, the more you're going to start being more discerning and picking those better people. Like literally, your picker is off when you haven't healed stuff from your past, especially your relationship with your parents. You are just like our relationship with our parents and their relationship that we saw modeled is the blueprint for our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with others. And that is what we are constantly recreating. I think it's called like experience bias. I just heard a new term. No, repetition bias. It's we are
Mm.
like in our brain, it feels more safe with the known than the unknown. So we're going to keep choosing the known. You've got to heal the past, make peace with it, and start focusing on new. And then I also like to support clients in nervous system expansion. So making that new thing feel safe. If all you're used to, so this was something, a personal example, I was so used to fighting and chaos in relationships. And so I had to actually work on sitting with myself and being like, no, this is actually good that we're peaceful and not fighting in past relationships, that we're getting better and better. And I had to do an EFT tapping, or I had to do some breath work, or I had to do a meditation, like things to calm my nervous system down to actually feel safe with this new thing that was healthy. So a lot of this stuff is like very much rooted in personal psychology, relational psychology. It's very, very practical, actually, I think.
Yeah, of course. And I love that you gave all of those examples right there about like ways to calm your nervous system. So let's like go into that a little bit more too. If someone's feeling like they're trying to do the manifestation thing and nothing's working, and it's because they haven't really dealt with their past issues to be able to move on. Like some of those things that you worked on to calm your nervous system that they could do at home as well.
Yeah. So I really am a huge fan of EFT tapping. I actually have like a little mini course, which I'm happy to give like a discount to your followers if they want,
Yeah.
or your listeners. We're on a podcast, not Instagram, but yes, so it's such a great way to you're doing cognitive rewiring while you're also calming your nervous system down because you're tapping on the meridian points in the body. And that helps to just calm your nervous system, slow down your brain waves, and then you start loving and accepting yourself with whatever's coming up for you. So you accept those emotions and then you release them and put in better beliefs. I have also found I somatic dance. I've done some somatic dance work, shaking and dancing out, like, and that's helped me release a lot of past trauma that was stored in the body. And then I think inner child healing work is really how you kind of reset your nervous system, like once it's calm. Like that's how you get the long-term effective things.
Hmm.
And I've done EMDR with my therapist. I think EMDR is a great tool for that. But truly like giving your inner child, this is what I walk myself through, and work with clients on and walk them through. Like, let's go back. Let's find when this feeling first happened for you
Hmm.
and what was happening to that little girl. And when you're able to show up for her and give her what she needed then in that situation, you're able to actually heal the wound and neutralize it. And so you'll find you just start to get less and less dysregulated. So like I am so neutral and stable and calm for the most part. Like I'm trying to think of the probably the thing that triggers me nowadays. Like there's not a lot, but I think it's mostly just like that there's still anxiety about like when I have a lot on my plate, getting it all done.
Hmm.
Like some of it's just normal anxiety, and it's normal to have and healthy to have a bit of anxiety and stress in your life, but it really, so much stuff used to trigger me in the past. Like I was literally a trigger ball. I was constantly dysregulated. I was so disassociated. And I'm so calm and present, and it takes a lot to dysregulate me now, because of doing this work consistently and over and over and over again. You can heal and you can stop experiencing triggers, in your life, because a trigger is just an emotional reaction that like the loop was never closed from what happened to you. So I forget your question. I went off on a tangent there. What did I?
No, no, it's great. And you're answering it just about like the mechanisms you can use to regulate your nervous system. And I like that you brought up like the somatics and like shaking your body and stuff. Like I remember when I first heard that, I was like, that is so bizarre, to be honest. It like sounds so silly. But then someone like told me in the context of like, think about like animals like your
Yeah.
dog or like animals in the wild, they get nervous and they like physically shake it off. And then you're like, oh yeah, that is actually like a really primal behavior.
100%. Yeah, that's how they get the trauma, the stress out of their body. They get it's because it's not always immediately trauma. Like it's just stress. But when you don't release it, then it stores in the body and then it compounds. And so then it turns into trauma.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I want to shift a little bit. Like, let's go through another example separate from relationships. Say someone's like, I want to manifest a new job or a new home or something like completely different.
Yeah.
What are like, let's like do a little fake exercise, I guess, and walk through the steps of like, if that's what they want, how to get from A to Z.
Okay. So step one, to get clear, write out what you want in this new job. And something that I add in for my specific like manifestation process is to get clear and specific and to also get clear on how you want to feel in that job because
Mm.
people forget they get so focused on like the specifics. Like you must have, well, what was that song? Like 6 foot blue eyes, trust fund,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Like, well, yes, like it's not wrong to have specifics that you want that are physical or, specifics about the job, like the salary or the location or what you want to be doing, but it's so more important to like get clear on how do you want to feel in that job because sometimes the universe has better for us and we are closed-minded because it's like, oh well, it's not located in Tribeca because
Yeah.
I'm like where yeah, where in New York you're looking at moving, but it's what if maybe like there's a job that's maybe in the West Village or maybe in Midtown. It's like, and there's new friends in that area or a Pilates studio. Like, you never know what the universe has. It's always trying to surprise and delight us, but we are so not open to the magic sometimes because we're so focused. So, while I am like, yes, get clear, be specific, focus more on how you want to feel. And then go into step two. What is coming up for you that's not excitement? So, you want to manifest this new job and you suddenly have these things being like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm good enough for this. Like, what if I'm not qualified enough? You got to start working through those limiting beliefs, get them all out. If there is trauma associated with some of them or just like wounding, some heavier stuff, they're really hard to shift. You're going to have to go back and do some healing around that work to be able to actually shift it. But start trying to get clear on those like limiting beliefs that are holding you back, that are
Mm.
making you automatically block yourself. Because if you don't believe you're qualified, like you're not even going to like apply for the job that maybe is
Yeah.
the perfect job for you. So have to remove those limiting beliefs. And then step three is replace them with better beliefs. And step three is really, I like to, a lot of people, jump to these crazy affirmations that are just not believable. So I like to incrementally upgrade. So if you are trying to manifest your dream job and it's maybe something that you're not quite fully qualified for yet, but you're in the middle of the training, don't choose an affirmation that's like, I'm qualified for the job. Choose an affirmation like, I am becoming qualified for the job. Or it's this
Yeah.
with like, I am wealthy. Like, if you don't, like, you're going to have dissonance if you can't get behind that affirmation. And that dissonance is going to block you from being in the energy of the affirmation. So pick an affirmation that you can really get into the energy of and feel. So, like, I am building a better financial situation for myself
Hmm.
instead of I am wealthy. Step four then is to become a match. And this is energetic. So, like feeling the feelings, you want to be in that state of like, I'm so excited. My dream job's going to come. It's going to be exactly the right job for me. And it's going to come in the right way at the right time with the right salary. Like getting really excited and staying in that excited state. That's that magnetic state that you want to stay in. But there's also a practical component that I think people forget about. Like, you can't be an ice skating Olympian if you've never ice skated a day in your life. Like, take the practical steps. If the job that you want is maybe you're not quite fully qualified for it, maybe take some courses so that you are more qualified or get a mentor or Google, Chat GPT. There's so many resources. Like, help yourself become a match. If you are really wanting an emotionally available man in your life, stop committing to this other man over here that's not like emotionally available. So there's a practical element of like you have to have space for and you have to be able to actually be a match for it. And then step five is to release attachment. And this is where a lot of people struggle. Most people struggle with attachment. And it really helps to do this trauma healing work. A lot of our attachment comes from control, comes from not being able to be whole within and meet our own needs. Like I have found healing my relationship with myself and healing myself has actually really helped so much with detachment. But also, for me, a little hack that I like to share that's helped is to stay like committed to the vision and not to the practical manifestations that are coming in. Because sometimes we start to manifest and it's not quite the thing yet. It's lessons or it's helping us grow, helping us become a match. And we can be like, oh, manifestation doesn't work. And no, like I needed my last two relationships to help me become emotionally available to myself so that now I can manifest an emotionally available man. And I was so attached to it being them, like that after the lesson was learned, I was clinging and clinging, and the universe had to like pull me away, which I do believe we're so supported, especially when we keep getting clear on and speaking, what we want out loud. I do believe we're helped, but wow, I could have like moved on and saved myself so much pain by just letting go sooner when I knew it wasn't a fit anymore. Um, and so what I really try to do and what helps me a lot when I'm like dating, even if I'm excited about somebody, I don't let myself attach the dream and the vision of my man to that person. I'm like enjoying it and but still excited about my dream man.
Yeah.
See who he is. Like that person isn't like the only form that your manifestation can come in. And like we get so attached. So I think staying committed to the vision is helpful. So for job, sorry, we're focused on the job. So like, you're applying for all these jobs and like you start going through the application process and you get really excited. Don't get attached to it being one specific one. Stay open. Trust that maybe you went through like those 5 rounds of interviews to prepare you for the actual dream job. So stay committed to the vision of your dream job and not so attached to the specific company or job. That will really help with staying in a released energy and enjoying the process.
Mm.
Step 6 is to take inspired action. And this does not mean like, okay, if I want this dream job, I have to apply to every single job out there in the category. Let yourself be guided. It is about like alignment, not about quantity, not about doing. That's a very masculine energy to be like, I need to apply to every job in this, category. Take it, feel the inspired hits. Wait a second, that job, that company, or oh, that friend knows somebody at that company. Really follow that guidance. It's honestly like your life gets so synchronistic when you start living this way. And again, it takes a lot of self-trust to be able to be in that magnetic flow with yourself in the universe. But like sometimes it's taking a nap. Sometimes things like it's so funny. I have one friend, she's an amazing manifester, and she gets the most sales for her online course when she's getting a massage. Like
Amazing.
you're so relaxed, you're so released, you're so receptive. That's such a magnetic energy. Yeah, like that's going to pull the things in. So take the inspired actions, apply to the jobs you feel called to apply to, but don't feel like you need to keep doing, doing, doing to earn to get. Really try to listen to your inner guidance, follow alignment, and let yourself be guided. And then step 7 would be to receive. Receive right now what the job that you do have or any financial support you do have. Like feel supported and stable exactly where you are. But then also when it comes in, like go celebrate, girl, enjoy it, celebrate it. I think, yeah, people don't always take the time, but express gratitude, thank the universe.
I love it. That was such a good like step by step for people to like picture themselves doing that, at home. Whatever the thing may be that they're like, "Oh, I really like want to change this one thing in my life." And obviously it can be more than one thing, but I don't know, maybe one thing at a time. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm always manifesting lots of things at
Yeah.
one time.
Amazing. Okay. For somebody who has, their dream job, their dream home, their dream relationship, whatever it is that they are wanting to start manifesting on, do you have any just words of encouragement? It doesn't have to be practical, but like if they're like, "Okay, I'm ready to give this a try. I don't know how it's gonna go."
Yeah. I think the lesson that the universe continues to deliver to me over and over and over again is it's all working out. And if we can just relax a little bit and take our like hands, our clenched hands off like the wheel trying to control and drive and just like flow a bit more, we really open ourselves up to so much more abundance. We don't have to do it all. We can receive, we can be supported. And it truly was learning to build the relationship with myself and heal a lot of the pain and trauma from my past that allowed me the more I have done that, the more I've been able to just relax and receive and enjoy the flow. Um, but it's a process, and it's like going to the gym. You don't start off with a bicep in 2 days, you go consistently. You consistent mindset healing, mindset shifting, like it all is a daily practice for me. And I have intrusive thoughts, I have anxiety, I have negative stuff every single day, but it's gotten way less from doing this work, and my shift back game is so strong. I know how to shift, and I know how to do the deeper work when it's a deep shift that needs to happen to allow that like high level thought shift to happen. But so be patient with yourself, trust the process. And honestly, I believe success is when you continue to get back up and you continue to move forward and you continue to fight for your dreams and your desires and believe in yourself and create the best for yourself internally and externally. So much more like than the external things that you manifest. I believe that commitment to self and that self-devotion, that is true success.
I love it. I mean, mic drop. Boom, right there. So good. Okay, I want to shift us into some fun little like wellnessy rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, morning or evening workout?
I'm either late morning or early afternoon.
Oh, love it. Okay, running or walking?
Definitely walking.
Lifting or body weight workouts?
Lifting.
Juice or smoothie?
Um, Smoothie if there's protein in it.
Okay.
I do very minimal sugar and high
All
protein.
right. Coffee or matcha?
Coffee.
Salad or bowl?
Salad.
Pizza or pasta?
Ooh, oh, that's so hard.
I know.
Girl loves her carbs. I'd have to say, I think pasta.
Tacos or quesadilla?
Quesadilla.
An early riser or night owl?
Night owl. I I tried to change it so many times and I was like, I just need to accept myself.
All right, Jordan. Well, it was so much fun getting to chat with you today. I feel like I learned so much. I know our listeners are going to enjoy this conversation and have so many great takeaways from it. So, people who are listening, where can they follow along? How can they work with you? Tell us all the good stuff.
Oh, this was such a pleasure. I'm just so lit up right now. It's so fun to chat about this stuff. And I just am so excited for the women that this is going to help. I truly want every single woman out there to find the peace and power and happiness and just joie de vivre that I feel like I've found through this work. And you can find more support on my podcast, the Magnetic Muse podcast. I also have really been dropping lots of little tips on Instagram, like at least a couple of times a week. Sometimes I'm able to get daily and depending on my schedule, but trying to really just like support the girlies over there. And I'm going to start back up on my email newsletter, which is linked in my bio. So if you want to start getting like little emails with like favorite things, little mindset shifts and stuff, you can also sign up for my email newsletter. And then my link to book a free one-on-one discovery call to see if one-on-one coaching would be a fit is in my Instagram bio, which is all my handles across socials are Jordan Laurelle. And that's Laurelle.
Perfect. And
A-N.
yes, and we'll link it all in the show notes. So you can just scroll on down if you're listening. But Jordan, it was so great getting to chat with you. I feel like I'm on a higher vibration now going into the rest of my day. So thank you again.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.